Hello, everybody. I hope everything is working. Thank you so much for joining me today for our ADU webinar. Today is Thursday, June 24th, and we will be going over all of the ADU rules, how many you can add, sizes, locations, and so forth. So thank you again for joining us. I'm also testing out new software in order to share my screen to go over some floor plan samples. So let's see. So we can begin. The first question we will go over is how many ADUs can I add? And our presentation is mainly about multifamily property ADUs. Our company is ADU1. We're a division of Retrofit One, which specializes in seismic retrofitting for multifamily properties. But we've been in the multifamily property construction field for over 10 years now. We've been doing restoration, rebuilding, remodeling, renovations, water damage, flood damage, things like that, repairing, rebuilding, rooms, walls, floors, kitchens, cabinets, everything like that. And once the state passed the ordinance or the new law allowing accessory dwelling units in multifamily properties, we took the opportunity to add this in as well. So to continue with the number, so the number of ADUs you are allowed to do, there's a 25% rule for attached ADUs. So let's say you have an 8-unit building, 25% of that are 2 units. So you can add 2 ADUs that are attached to the building. And attached in this case is referring to internal conversions. So you are not permitted to add square footage to the primary building. You can't build a new unit and attach it to the building. They do not allow that. What you can do is convert existing space that's uninhabited, such as tuck under parking, attached garage, storage rooms, attics, basements, and so forth. So that is what is considered attached units, and you can do up to 25% or at least 1. So duplexes and triplexes, you can still do 1 if you have an attached area that's uninhabited and meets the minimum requirements. You can do an ADU there. The other rule is for detached units. Most properties are allowed up to 2 detached ADUs. And these can be a variation of conversions, such as converting detached garage, detached carports, detached storage rooms, whatever it is, or it can be brand new ground up construction on the lot or land if you have the space. So if you have a yard that has enough for the 4-foot setbacks, you can put a brand new unit there. If your city allows 2, you can do 2 units. They could be side by side or top and bottom if they meet the height requirements. And the height limits and requirements vary per city, although they are usually 16 feet since the state initially put 16 feet as the minimum. Many cities adopted that as the standard. Los Angeles, however, allows us to design in a certain way to go below the grade a little bit and account for good, reasonable ceiling heights on both dwellings, as well as the subfloor in the middle, while still reaching the 16-foot height limit. So just to recap, you can do 25% for attached conversions. So if you have 1 or if you have 2 through 7 units, you can do 1 attached. If you have 8 to 11 units, you can do 2 detached. 12, 13, 14 units, you can do 3 attached, and so forth. And again, internal conversions, you're not permitted to add square footage. And then if your city allows both, you can also do up to 2 detached on the lot. So you have the potential sometimes to turn a fourplex into 7 units, which means 1 attached using the 25% rule and up to 2 detached space permitting. So again, you can go from a fourplex that has a yard or a lot or something like that into 7 units, all from using your same property and just adding units. You're going to get brand new units and be able to charge market rent for them, which is great. So we already went over the conversions. Another thing regarding these conversions is that we get this question a lot. Let's say you have your primary building, however many units it is, with an attached garage, or it's double levels, like 1 level for 1 or 2 units, then it's 2 stories in the back or something like that. We get a lot of questions about if you can add units on top or build on top of that, the first floor, or add on top of an attached garage. The answer is no, because going back to what they consider attached units, you cannot do additions. So they would consider that additions, and multifamily properties are not allowed to do additions to the property. You can only do conversions, or all new construction has to be detached and separated from the property. So you cannot build on top of the primary dwelling. You can't add something to the side of it. You can't build on top of an attached garage. We already went over the height limits. Some areas, although with that 16 feet, some areas such as Burbank and Santa Monica do allow for more height, around, I believe it's 24 feet, something like that. So that way you don't have to worry about any heavy grading or anything significant with the excavation. You can just build on top easily. Depending on the condition of the existing carport, it may need reinforcement, or it may have to be demoed if that just economically makes sense. But then you can still build 2 stories, no problem. Cities like La Habra just informed me that they are revising their ordinance to also allow for, it was something like 24 feet, maybe 25, something give or take, to allow for easier second stories when building on top. So that's good news in the San Gabriel Valley. I believe that's where it is. So bear with me. I'm going to try to share my screen to go into a couple of current projects that we are working on. So let me see here. Okay. Let me see. One moment. I'm just allowing the browser to do screen share. Okay. All right. So I normally do this on Zoom and it allows it, but this new streaming software, I think it's not compatible with my browser, but I could just go ahead and discuss the current ones we're doing. So just to start with, again, multifamily property ADUs are brand new. The state just passed this last year. So there hasn't been enough time for everything to be started and to go through all of the design, the layouts, everything like that, as well as the permitting process and the construction have been completed. So all of our projects right now are either in the design and the planning stage and permitting process, and we are about to start construction any day now in Inglewood. If you guys have been watching, I know I've been saying that for a while, but Inglewood did have a couple of delays on their end, but the permit is pulled and we're good to go actually. So we're about to start construction in Inglewood, so we can have more details there. But our current projects right now, what happens is, so after you do sign with us, we then start, the draftsman goes to the property, starts with the measurements and calculations of the existing site and where the ADU is going to be. The engineer and architect then designs what we already agreed on. And then we can really see the full feasibility now that we have all of the exact measurements, precision, everything like that from the draftsman. The first draft is done with your layout. So a preliminary draft, you go over it with whoever you were working with. So it could be me or one of my associates, Julia, Maria. We would go over the proposed layout for you. That way you can see the dimensions, the exact square footage that we're able to get, the layout where the bedroom, kitchen, bathrooms, living space, and so forth, even where the windows are. And we go back and forth with you there to make sure you're satisfied and you approve the layout. So once that is approved, or if you do have any revisions or requests, we go back to the engineer and architect to see, is this feasible if we moved, the bathroom here or change the size here or whatever it is. We do our best to accommodate those requests. And of course, we see what is permitted with regards to plumbing and everything like that, and with the city. Once the layout is approved by the property owner, the rest of the plans are then done and completed, and our plans do include the structural plans, architectural plans, the design, the green building, Title 24 for all of the energy efficiency, and just to throw it in, all new construction detached units may be required to have solar panels. So that is something to consider, but we go over that with you before you even sign. We let you know all of the exclusions. In this case, our exclusions are all of the city government fees, permits, plan checks, all of the stuff that goes to the city or doesn't have anything to do with our construction and scope. So that would be, again, permit, plan checks, city fees, stuff like that. We give you approximations for what those typically cost. And again, new detached units have to do solar panel. You can either put the solar panels on the primary building or on the ADU, and they will vary per the size of the ADU and how much power they feel it's going to need. And what we also do not include, because it's a separate thing with utilities, is any upgrade to your panels, or if you need separate meters for the units. Again, we go over approximate costs for you and what these things may entail. So if needed, we go over all of that for you. But anyways, back to the design. Once you approve the design, the rest of the plans are done, which again, the Title 24, green building, architectural, structural, and your MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing plans are also included in our engineering package. So some companies may not include that. They may just do the design. But with us, we do include all of that, everything you need, as well as the permitting process. So the permitting process, which is, submission to the city, going back and forth with the plan checker, corrections, revisions, stuff like that goes back and forth. We do not propose to you something outside of the state's allowance or the specific city's allowance. If there are any corrections that are significant, such as the city isn't allowing you to be at this distance or sizing or something like that, we of course go back to you to let you know. We revise it together within what the corrections say and what you approve of. If there's anything significant that would impact the cost of construction, we would discuss that as well. So if we propose to you a 1,200 square foot ADU, but the city for some reason is sticking to no, it has to be something significantly less or whatever it is, we have yet to come across that, because again, we would not propose something that wouldn't be allowed. But if there was something significant, we would definitely come and we would fix anything needed with the contract. And of course, until you approve, then that's what we submit. So our engineering package covers all of that permitting process. And right now the permitting processes have been taking about, I would say, 3 to 6 months total. The design and layout takes about 4 to 6 weeks. It also depends on how many revisions you ask for too before submission. So, I mean, it could take as little as 3 weeks, but to be conservative, we say 4 to 6 weeks, get submitted, and then 3 to 6 months with the city. And the cities do have a 60-day time limit to get back to us for the first corrections. However, once they get back to us, the clock is reset. But if there are no corrections, it could be done in as little as 60 days. But we would rather be conservative and say 3 to 6 months rather than promise something sooner or faster. And then once the plans are approved and we can pull the permit, that takes a couple of weeks. And if you're in Los Angeles, or if your city also requires this, Los Angeles, for example, requires a THP, the tenant habitability plan, which is alerting the tenants that construction is going to happen on the premises. And we give them our contact info, the details of the construction, how long it could be, our phone numbers and contact information. So if they have any issues or questions prior or during the construction, we take care of that step as well. So whatever your city requires as far as alerting the tenants, we take care of. So we do that step, and then once that's completed, we can begin the construction. Construction can take anywhere from 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. It really depends on the size of your project, how many ADUs you're doing, and the city you're in, with how long their inspections take, if they're very rigid with the inspections and coming out there and demanding certain things be changed. But anything within our hands, we do efficiently, promptly, and we work with you during the whole process. So you're always aware of everything going on. So right now, the current projects that I was going to show you, if the screen sharing was working, we have one in Hermosa Beach, 2 in Inglewood, 2 or 3 in Glendale, a couple in Los Angeles, 1 in Berkeley as well. The Berkeley was a really cool one I wanted to show you. That one was tuck under parking, and the tuck under parking was the entire ground floor of the building with storage areas as well. So we were converting the tuck under and the storage into 3 units actually. And we have a few right now in the Los Feliz, Hollywood area, which entail, they're mostly in the rear. This client has detached carports and he wants to preserve the parking. So we are building on top of the carports. And another thing he requested, which is nice, because something to consider, when you are building on top of a carport, there has to be a stairway now. There's going to be a new stairway that wasn't there before, and the stairway is not allowed in setbacks. So it may have to go underneath, and that can often eliminate one stall. However, if we're able to, and if the city allows it, we can move that parking stall to the outer edge. And that's what we're doing in these projects right now. We're also relocating laundry rooms or adding new laundry rooms, actually, if there's the space. So we can do those all at the same time of these ADUs. Again, space permitting, but if you request that and we're able to, we will include in the plans laundry room or moving the water heater area. So we're doing all of that for a couple of these Los Feliz projects right now and Hollywood. So that's really cool. If you want to preserve parking, we should be able to build on top. And yeah, so we have a ton of projects right now, all in the design and permitting process. So within a few months, we're going to be starting construction on them if the clients also sign for construction. We have 3 right now in North Hollywood as well. And these buildings that we're working with are really big. And something we're doing in one of them, we're relocating a fitness room and the leasing office somewhere else, and we're using that space for the ADU. So that's really cool and something different to consider. And we're also adding another unit in a passageway. So I mean, you really have so many possibilities depending on the layout of your building with how many where they could go. So part of the process with us, let's say you just want to find out how many ADUs can I add. Give us a call or email us, and we will provide you with a free land use analysis. The land use analysis will entail how many ADUs you are permitted to add per property, where they could go, approximate sizes. We have many programs and tools to be able to do this, or we will meet you at the property, or we will send our runner to the property to take measurements and photos. So we have many ways, either through our programs and measurement tools and building records, or we can meet you there, or we can send our runner for accurate measurements and photos. We then find out the scope of work, again, where they would go, how many you're permitted to add. And we also include a market analysis. So that way you can see, okay, for this option, they're proposing 1 ADU, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. We will include a market analysis showing these are all the other 2-bedroom, 2-bath in the vicinity, what their rents are. So we will give you a glimpse at what your annual ROI potentially could be with that option, and what the GRM could be, and everything like that, your potential annual revenue and so forth for each option if you have more than one option. So we show you that, and of course it will include a quote for the work, including the engineering will have a separate line, approximate permit costs will have a separate line, and what the cost, our cost for construction is. And then after that, if you would still like to discuss or meet again at the property, or then do a walkthrough, whatever it is, we will accommodate, and we will go over all the steps with you. And then from there, when you're ready to sign, we will send you a contract with exactly what we already discussed, what was agreed on. We will already discuss with you prior how much to put aside for all of those exclusions and miscellaneous costs. Again, which to go over, since a few new people have joined us, we do not include permit fees, plan checks, impact fees, the solar panels if needed, any upgrades to your panel or individual meters. So it may come as a shock, but again, you are building, new units here. So I always say put aside at least $20,000 to $25,000 for those miscellaneous costs, because the permits alone are at least $10,000, because it is new development. If you're building a house, it's typically 2 to 3 times that actually. So for the ADUs, they're at least 10 grand actually, if not more, depending on your city. San Francisco, it's much more. But if you wanted to get that reduced and possibly be exempt from impact fees, then we would suggest doing a unit under 750 square feet, so you can be exempt from certain impact fees. But again, we work with you through all of that. We go over all your questions. We can meet you at our office. We're located in Tarzana and South OC, and we have crews in NorCal and crews that can do all the way in San Diego. So we service most parts of the state, but our headquarters is in Tarzana in Los Angeles, and we have an office in South OC as well. And we can meet you in our office, on site, Zoom, whatever you're comfortable with, to go over all of these until you are comfortable with signing. And if you have any specific property questions, please just let us know. Every city has different rules. So just feel free to give us a call. Our number is 866-NEW-ADU1. That's 866 new ADU1. I believe that's 639-2381, 639-2381. You can find all of our contact info on our website, apartmentadu.com. Again, that's apartmentadu.com. And please feel free to give us a call, contact us through our website. You can email me, Helen, Helen, at adu-1.com, Helen at adu-1.com. Give us a call, 866-NEW-ADU1. Visit our website, apartmentadu.com. We will be happy to answer all of your specific property questions. We can provide you again with that free land use analysis, which includes the quote for the work, how many ADUs you can do, where they could go, and what the costs would be. So we are here to answer all of your questions and help you earn more monthly income with the property you already own. I didn't get to go into it much today, but if your property also needs seismic retrofitting, you can combine that at the same time. If you already did seismic retrofit, you can still do ADUs, no problem. So give us a call. We're happy to go over all of your options with you. And if you email me, I can also send you our YouTube link, which has all of our webinars that we've done, all of our presentations with specific organizations, that has PowerPoint slides, everything. Or just call and we can discuss it together. So that is all for today. If you would like to know more about Senate Bill 721, which is the balcony and deck required inspections that all multifamily properties with 3 or more units in California is required to do, please give me a call or check out one of our YouTube videos that discusses it. We are including that free inspection and report with your signed ADU construction contract. So that's just something to save you a couple of grand for that inspection that you are required to do, 3 or more units, to inspect all of your balconies, decks, walkways, bridges, whatever it is. So if you'd like more information on that, please reach out. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week or talking to you in the meantime. So thank you, everybody. See you next time. This is Helen with